When you think just generally, when we talk about care in a family unit or a community, people automatically think moms and mothers.
Seeing two Black men come into a school in an inner city and wanting to give back was just amazing to me.
Just your presence alone causes people to pause and say, wait a minute, I need to know more about what these guys are doing.
When I saw the initial renders, I thought, this is too good to be true. There's no way that somebody is willing to bring this to our school.
So when we were first shared the blueprints of the wellness space, it was definitely something that we were really excited about. I think the modern aesthetic, look, and feel felt like something that I personally would want to go into. And I think creating spaces like that for students where they can show up and naturally be and come with their friends, it has a clean feel to it. It has this calming feel of everything from the colors and the wood and the layout.
Feels like a space where high schoolers can resonate with and go in and actually enjoy themselves.
I think when we look at the original pictures, from the proposal to what's happening now, I can see the vision. It's very, I guess, rewarding to see the process happening. It's not just something that is being put together in a day. It's not something that was just thrown together. I think it was very intentional by design.
Working on the wellness space was an opportunity to give kids, honestly, something that I didn't have that I wish that I did growing up. And it's that head start in discovering yourself.
Specifically, the vision that came to mind when crafting the atmosphere around the pods and the risers. We wanted to focus on different textiles and how they should complement one another, but also how they should exude a level of energy that just makes you feel safe. I wanted these two elements to serve as areas of comfort, peace, sanctuary, and no matter who walks in, whether it's a kid or an adult, I just wanted them to gravitate towards this level of comfort.
You see the output of the work, but a lot of people don't see how hard these guys just really work in terms of the time and energy that's put into the day-to-day operations of the organization. I don't even think it's really recognized or acknowledged amongst even just the most intimate and engaged constituents of the organization. I've seen Dustin and Lee, up 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, whether it's FaceTimes, text messages, being with them, seeing the time that they put in, the energy that they put in, the thought, the passion, the blood, sweat, and tears, in essence, really to, again, make an impact in the community and make a difference in people's lives.
I think one of the things I have growing up in Berlin, Maryland is it's a work ethic. I think one of the things for me is that when I come home, it's peace. It's a place of recovery. It's a place that I can just tap back in to those elements that make me who I am. There's so many people that have put so much into me. How dare I waste my talents and my gifts and not be the absolute best version of myself?
I think Reginald's hard work actually came from us. He watched us go out here, go to work before day broke, and a lot of times I had to be on the job because actually I had 2 jobs and my husband had 2 jobs.
A very important piece was my relationship with my grandfather. I mean, he still is amazing, right? When he passed, it took something from me.
Pop always thought of Reggie as his own. He and Reggie was like 2 pals. You couldn't do one without doing the other.
For Granddaddy and Reggie, oh man, they was inseparable. They were very tight. He was very proud and very confident in Reggie and what Reggie was doing and what they had instilled in him as he's coming up.
Reggie has hung in there, and his word is, no worries. That I will never forget that.
Oftentimes you'll hear me say no worries, because there is no worries. No matter what's in front of us, I'm not worried about it because I know that I will put everything on my back. I know that Dustin will put everything on his back, and we will get it done. But there's something about my grandparents and about my family that was instilled in me, how to have a good heart.
Reggie, all the kids behind him in church, oh, they thought he was something. They followed right down behind him. Everybody loved Reggie. That is because what was instilled into him, he didn't keep it to himself. He shared it with others.
So my work ethic comes from my family, especially my grandfather, since he poured into everybody.
The work ethic is real simple. I was raised with good work ethics with my parents and my father especially. They always see me do one thing, get up and go to work, sometimes 2 jobs. I had 3 at one time.
My grandfather worked his entire life before retiring, just never called in sick. I would ride my bike to his house and we'd just sit in the back, he'd have a little nip, he'll smoke his cigarette, and we'll just talk, man, for like 2-3 hours. He always had these rings on his hands. When we had our last conversations, he was like, yeah, I want you to have like my jewelry, but he like, with this ring, I will always be connected with you. Cause he was the very first person I told about our own. He was like, yeah, I fuck with that. You know, you should probably do this and do this, but remember, just remove ego and remove pride from whatever you're gonna do.
Hey, Dustin, this is Pop returning your call. Had to go out and get a CT scan this morning. Other than that, I'm doing fine. How you doing, babe? That idea you was telling me about, I was thinking about that a little bit. Okay, then, I love you, and thanks for checking on me. Bye-bye.
Like, you know, he got diagnosed with liver and lung cancer. So once he like transitioned, I start going harder with our own, which led to doing, pouring into like my first idea, and which transitioned into like meeting a person who my grandfather said, I won't be here, but there would be some people strategically placed into your life that will give you the tools and things and energy that you need to keep this idea going, because you can't do all this stuff yourself.
Clinically speaking, the significance of having wellness as a daily part or tool in specifically the development or foundation of a child is absolutely necessary, right? Because like, let's take trauma, for example. When an individual experiences trauma, there is research that shows the impact on the brain, right? One's ability to think and rationalize is completely closed off. One's ability to function and make rational decisions is significantly impacted.
An instance where mental health could have saved someone is one of my former students who recently passed away. He had come from an extremely traumatic background, had really worked his way to success, gotten himself into a wonderful college, graduated, was in his master's program. Come to find out after he overdosed that he had just had a plethora of struggles and traumas and challenges that he just was not expressing to anyone, and was choosing drugs instead of reaching out for help.
I didn't have an organization like our own growing up. I know a lot of kids don't, or still don't, for a multitude of reasons. And the fact of the matter that my son, is kind of living, front and center with the work that we do on a day-to-day basis is quite frankly it just really warms my heart and makes me grateful that he's lucky and fortunate enough to have access and resources to quite frankly one of the greatest organizations that's impacted my life.
One of the qualitative components of this space for us was that kids could find their own agency. Sometimes kids are put in a box, and it's hard for them to go outside of that because of where you come from and your family and what they want you to do or what they did before.
When I had the opportunity to visit the wellness space,
I was reminded of a quote from Frederick Douglass that says, "It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." I really feel like that is the genesis of the creation of the wellness spaces, particularly in education spaces.